What's up guys, Hades here. Today we're updating the skill tier list. This is going to be everything except for the legendary skills. Now you can see here in red I have the 3 new ones that are coming into the game, and in red is the last time I did it. These were the new ones coming into the game. These were predictions, and I'm going to talk about kind of where they land now, and I want to place these 3 new ones in the tier list and make a big update. Now, we had these new ones, and some of them were very good, and some of them were not so good. And I was pretty close, but I do think I missed the mark just a bit. Now, we have a couple of new ones, and they're going to be coming soon, and one's already here. It's Soul Energy, Lightning Strike, and Heart of Arcana. Now, Heart of Arcana is already in the recharge shop. Many people have it. I just unlocked it. If you haven't watched, my mage meta is here. This is at the core of that. Everything about mages is just very powerful right now, and this is one of the big reasons. Giving your mage 35% boost, which is basically a bonus concentration from another ally, right? Just gives them even more damage. It becomes very, very strong. I think this is easily S tier, probably at the top of S tier, and I'm gonna fix that around as we go on. The next one, and these ones aren't quite out yet, but you do have access to them in the open arena. This one's called Soul Energy. I'm a big fan of this one. It says, after the battle starts, establish a mental link with allies. Every time they use an ultimate, they restore 240%. Now, a few things of note. 1, it has to be on a support. 2, it's a passive, not an aura. This is an aura, which means only 1 aura per immortal. But this is a passive, which means it can have an aura and this. Now, I'm going to tell you right now, I am a big fan of Soul Energy. I have just a little bit of data here for you. In the open arena, we look at my battle reports. I've been using it a bit. Now, this is not a challenging match, but the point is Fu Fei is a healer. When we look at healing, Elegant Dance for Soul Energy, right? So here in a quick match, the ultimate did more, obviously, but when we get into a little bit more details, you can see, oh, almost the same amount of healing as an ultimate. And we check it again, and we look again, and we go, huh, almost the same amount, slightly behind, just barely. And then we can go look at a different report, and we look, and we see not a very good one, but the match ended in 23 seconds. And then the final match here, interesting, it's just a little bit behind a Fu Fei ultimate, which heals 300% to all 4. And then Soul Energy is healing 240% to everyone who uses their ultimate. So it's slightly less than a full-on healer, but you're getting double healing. It's a really strong skill. I'm excited for it. I think it's going to be very strong. And when we add it to the tier list, I think this is going to be an S tier skill. I think it's going to be almost mandatory for everything that's not hybrid. Of course, this isn't going to be synergistic to hybrid because Alex and Hannibal don't ult. And if you don't ult, you're not going to be getting the value of Soul Energy. So you want teams that are using lots of ultimates to get that value. Now, the third one I want to talk about is Lightning Strike. Now, I was kind of excited for this one because healing is OP, right? We've talked about this a lot. Spring of Life is one of the best skills in the game. This new skill is extremely powerful. All of the Mega Whales are using, double healers, right? Because healers are OP. What counters healers? Wound, right? So when you wound an enemy, this damage is going to be boosted by 50%, and the opponent's going to be taking 10% increased damage. So this is more like a 450% plus 10% bonus. It looks really good, right? Now, a few things to keep in mind. It is a triggered skill, which means while you're stunned, rooted, it's not activating during those 12 seconds. Also, it can only be put on melee and ranged heroes. So it needs to be on Khan, or it could be in the hybrid on Hannibal or Alex, because Kin is going to be wounding. And of course, it kind of just makes sense to be on Khan. I'm not sure why it's not in the recommended immortal, because he's going to do his own wounding and then be proccing this. I've tested this a decent amount, only really in the hybrid, but the 70% chance every 12 seconds is just a little too slow to be useful, because if you miss the chance, you're doing nothing for 24 seconds, right? Or 23 seconds until the next activation. And then if you hit, a lot of games can be decided in 23 seconds, especially with the new specializations. Immortals are so strong, fights end very quickly. I'm not a huge fan of Lightning Strike. I don't think it's going to be that powerful on release. It's not one that I'm going to be rushing for. I'm going to leave it in the A tier. Now, I want to talk about these 4 skills I ranked before and where I want to put them. I want to make just a small changes. Now, Time to Shine on Seondeok before the nerf was absolutely S tier, but now that that has been nerfed, it fits almost nowhere else. A few people use it on hybrid, but the crit is reduced, resilience really high, so the crit rate just isn't finding a ton of value. I am going to move it to A tier. It's still high value, but not best in slot. Same with Blood Frenzy. I was right with Blood Frenzy. Almost no one's using it. The stacking one, it's very average. It definitely belongs in A. Now, the meta shifted to mages, okay? And Psionic Tide is one of the best skills right now for mages. I completely missed out on it. I think I had a small opportunity to get it. I missed it. Bummer, right? But it is absolutely S tier. Nothing about Psionic Tide isn't S tier. It's completely one of the best skills in the game in its current state. Now, Chaos Storm, I think I was also right. I think it's S tier. I was using it in my main a lot. A lot of people haven't been using it, but I think they've been missing out. The fact that physical and magical defense are decreased means you do more damage. And it can be put on anyone, right? So you can be debuffing the enemy with your tank holding it or your support holding it. It doesn't have to be put on the carry. I see a lot of people putting it on the carry, and I don't think that's the right way to use this skill. I think a lot of the value is in this second piece, right? So I actually think it is S tier. It's not like top of S tier. I want to fix a few of these because some of these are not S tier anymore. Heavy Lifter is not S tier, not even close. Toxin Barrier is used by almost no one. It feels like it doesn't even counter hybrid teams. Annihilation got completely destroyed just because Psionic Tide is so much stronger. And then there's one missing from this list. Coercive Power. Now, the reason I had Coercive Power in the B tier was the last time I made this list, it had not been updated. So Coercive got changed, and if you haven't known, it used to only last for 3 seconds, which means most heroes could not use it properly. Only a handful could use it, and the main one being Seondeok. If you've played IB League, you know Coercive Power on Seondeok was the most broken thing you've ever seen, but they changed it. Now it's good on everyone, and if you look at the top players and the top builds, every single carry has Coercive Power. They're going with an energy regen, smack them with Battle Frenzy over and over and over, and this is the engine that lets you ult over and over and over, and all of them are using it. Every single whale, you click on their Wukong, they're using Coercive Power. A lot of them change the third skill, but you cannot remove this because it's so good. Which means we need to change it. I actually think Coercive Power is the single best skill in the game now, and I'm going to move it into S tier. Top of S tier, without a doubt. Spell Disintegrator, A tier. Energy Suppression, A tier. I'm gonna now make the S tier much more simplified. Soul Energy, I have a feeling is gonna be very high. Energy Shield's good, Battle Stance good. Death Breath is not A tier. Vitality Touch is not A tier. Demonic is, in many cases. Weakening Curse is almost required against hybrids. Yep. This is kind of at the back of S tier. I wouldn't rate it super highly. And I think I'm missing one. I think Guard is S tier. I think if you have a frontline carry, you have to have Guard. Without Guard, you just don't have much agency, right? Nope. Battle Frenzy, nope. None of these are. I demoted these. I don't think they're even in the realm. I like full coverage on a few of these weird builds. None of these have any use. Yeah, this is looking a lot better. I like Vitality. It's very good. I'll put it at the top of A. And I almost forgot that Assembly Charge was not on the list. This is absolutely an S tier skill. It has everything you could ever want. It gives you single target damage, it gives you cleave damage, it gives you increased physical damage. It's like Alex and Hannibal's like basically perfect skill. It is so good. It's pretty much a must on a handful of auto attacking teams. Even some players use Assembly plus Blade Vortex plus Executioner. Just as a spin-off to get more upfront damage instead of having to use Battle Stance or Demonic. So this is the new updated list. As metas change, as the devs change things, as people understand the game better, as people get access to more and more things, and as we start to max out our Immortals, this is going to change over time. But this is now a much more specialized list. The S tier is starting to narrow itself down to a few very select things that are very strong in this current meta. Again, we are currently in a heavy mage meta unless you're a Mega Whale maxing Poseidon or Wukong. Other than that, it is a mage meta. Because Himiko is so easy to achieve and to build compared to everything else, that is kind of what's pushing this. Anyways, if you guys like these kind of videos, let me know in the comments below, and I'll catch you in the next one.